it's not wrong to use AI. It's just about using it in the right parts of your creative and strategic process. And so those are principles that we've adopted in our agency.
Welcome to another episode of Grab Coffee with me, where great conversations and better coffee meet purpose and leadership. Today's episode is caffeinated by Dalvin Golf Solutions, transforming corporate events one golf experience at a time. I'm your host, Ian Peterson, so let's jump in. Today, we have one of my favorite people I've never met in person, Ashley Carrera, founder and CEO of Birdhouse Brand Studio, co-founder of Out of Office Orlando, helping women leverage golf as a powerful tool for building business relationships. Advocacy award winner from Orlando's American Advertising Federation. Is that correct?
They're
An executive coach. I think that's new on your resume. So welcome, Ashley. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me. And we will definitely have to meet in person at
Yeah,
some point. We're not
I
too far.
was I was driving into the office this morning, and I'm like, I feel like I know you,
It
but
doesn't
I've
feel
never
that
met
way.
Ashley in person. That is insane. But that's the world that we're living in right now, right?
Exactly.
It's you have all these virtual relationships, and you see people on social media. In our case, is LinkedIn. So I see all this activity, and I feel like I've met you in person, but I haven't.
I know. I know. Yeah. That's the nice thing of the virtual Zoom thing too. I think
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
one silver lining of COVID is it got us more comfortable connecting with each other via this platform.
exactly. And before we get down to business, let's talk coffee. So, what is your favorite go-to coffee?
Okay, so I'm very boring, and my sort of general what I've got in my cup today is just black coffee, just straight up
Gotcha.
black coffee. My brother is very into coffee and get got me into it as well. And
Mhm.
apparently there's even more like flavor notes and stuff in coffee than even in wine. So I drink my coffee, at least what I make at home. But if I do go to a cafe or something, I'll get like the most specialty off the wall. Whatever it is that takes the most time and care and effort, generally what I ask for. It's usually a latte is what I
Yeah. So I have a simple black coffee from Dunkin' Donuts this morning with one packet of Splenda. Normally, though, I'm a fancy coffee type guy, but I didn't have time to do that today. Well, give us your favorite coffee memory.
Okay, so my favorite coffee memory is from a cafe in Brazil, actually. It's a place called the Coffee Lab, and it's literally like a laboratory meets cute boutique cafe. They've got, they roast their own coffee there. They have, beakers and vials and like very well trained baristas. And I had a latte there that had these, like, notes of orange, and it was just it just hit on all the senses, I'll say that. It was by far the best coffee I've literally ever had in my life. We went there once, and then before I left, I had to go there again because I know I wasn't gonna get anything close to that anywhere
Yeah.
else. Yeah.
So that is by far way better than my favorite coffee memory. My favorite coffee memory, I was in Hartford, Connecticut on business. It happened to snow. It was super cold.
Mm,
And coming from Florida, flying up to Connecticut. And the only thing that was really open and that morning was Dunkin' Donuts. And that's when I really fell in love with coffee. Maybe because it was just the overall temperature outside and I need something
yeah,
to heat my body up. And it wasn't like it is now where you have coffee shops on every corner, so many
yeah,
different, craft coffee shops. It was just Dunkin' Donuts. And ever since then, I've been in love with Dunkin', way better than some of the other brands, even
yeah.
though, I'm a foo coffee type guy. So let's take us on that journey. We met through Clemmy Perry, Women of Color Golf.
Yeah.
So take us on that journey. How did you start Birdhouse Branding Studio?
Yeah, so founded Birdhouse Brand Studio 2.5, almost 3 years ago, but my entire professional career has been in marketing, with an expertise really in brand strategy, and digital marketing. Worked for about 15 years in the sports industry, specifically golf, heavily nonprofit, but worked and partnered with a number of different, Fortune 500 brands and companies along the way. including Nike, Adidas, Rolex, etc., did campaigns and content for a number of them throughout the years. And my sort of love is storytelling, but then also connecting a brand to the people that it aims to reach and to inspire them to take action. And so I spent 12 years at the LPGA Tour. So the biggest chunk of my career working within their nonprofit with their professionals, so the women who work on the ground as teachers, as coaches, etc., really helping to grow and amplify the mission and work that they do, which is reaching women, young women specifically through the Girls Golf Program, and then launched a content sort of pillar of the business called the LPGA Women's Network, all in an effort to, again, reach people where they are, connects them with these valuable resources that the organization had to offer, and then bring them into golf, which was an amazing experience. And I had the opportunity to do similar work with Youth on Course as their VP of Marketing and communications. And what I learned along the way is that really most companies struggle, regardless of your size, regardless of your industry, regardless if you're B2B or B2C,
Mhm. Mhm.
most companies struggle with the same core challenges as it relates to reaching their audience. A lot of it is clarity of message and then making sure that message is delivered in a succinct and compelling way to the audience that they're looking to reach. And then it's staying in connection with them, right? So nurturing that relationship. So not just advertising for the sake of advertising and making a sale, but actually having a relationship with the folks that you're bringing in as customers or clients, etc. And so a lot of my work is identifying and distilling all of the great things that a company does down to a palatable message for the core audience, and then building the machine around that, essentially building the marketing machine around that. So that is sort of what I'm a strategist, but at the
Mhm.
end of the day, I'm just the type of strategist that is really specialized in the creative work, the messaging and storytelling, and then the psychology that happens around that too.
Very, very cool. So is that the reason why you started out of, well, first explain, what is out of
Yeah. So Out of Office Orlando is a initiative that is focused on getting women literally out of their
Mhm.
office onto the golf course. So very intentional about the name
Yeah.
because we are trying to reach professional women. So women who in a lot of sense, and you know this well, Ian, because you've worked in golf and been in business for a long time. But golf, there's that saying, "Oh, deals are done on the golf
Mhm.
course." That is very much true. And unfortunately, there's a lot of women who miss out on the conversations and the business development opportunities that happen because they simply don't play, or even if they do, they're not confident enough to step out and participate in those opportunities. And so that's really our mission, is to both demystify what it means to do deals on the golf courses. Nobody's like whipping out a contract at the 18th hole and like, all
Yeah,
right, put her there, let's get this that's not what's happening, but it is all about relationship building, and there are connections, there are trust, there are some business conversations that are happening. It's not the whole 4 hour or 2.5 hour round, but it's about connection, and
Mhm.
people want to business with people they know, like, and trust, and the golf course is an incredible way to get to know somebody, to build trust, to observe their character. Is this even something that you wanna do business with, you know? They may be out there cursing like a sailor and cheating on their
Mhm.
sweetheart, and if you get into a deal with somebody like that, you may not know that until well down the road and it's too late, and so that's our mission, is to, 1, teach women who are interested in learning to play golf how to do it, because that's the other challenge, is if you don't know somebody, if you don't know where to start, it's very confusing how to get involved, especially if you don't have a community that you can learn and play alongside of. And then we teach them, the art of doing business essentially through golf.
Yes, and it's not about being great at golf, but
Mhm,
you need to know how to play, right? You need to know you need to know course etiquette.
mhm.
One of the favorite one of the best advice I've ever received on a golf course. This was early on, struggling, and a friend of mine, and it wasn't a business round of golf. He said, "Just look around. Nobody is great out here." And he was
Yes.
absolutely right. I see people
Yeah,
chunking ball, hitting it
I
thin. I'm looking.
gotcha.
And I'm like, you know what? He's right. And he said, just have fun. So once I started to have fun, that's when my game improved. But I'm going back to the business of golf or doing business on a golf course. You don't have to be great at playing golf, but you need to know the rules. You need to know the etiquette. And as you say, they say it's a gentleman's sport, but it's more than men that play the game of golf, but it's about honesty, right? Because you have to keep your own score and balls go into woods. It goes into the trees. It goes, and did they really find it or
Uh-huh.
not, those type of things, but those are the same kind of pillars that you abide by, you follow in business as well. So great point. I do have a question about your favorite memory of impact, either in out of office Orlando or your work with LPGA, when which the game was introduced to someone, to a female, to someone, a female in business, and how it perhaps changed their life.
Ooh, I have so many
I know,
stories.
I know.
Hard to pick one because one of my favorite things to do, and I when was at the LPGA, I went through their certification process to become a golf instructor. I'm not a
Mhm,
good golf instructor. I enjoy
mhm,
it. I'm certainly
mhm,
not a professional. I know enough to help. But and so one of the types of people I love teaching the most are beginners, right? Because golf is so scary. You're literally moving your body in a way that your body's not intended to be going in. Like there's no other natural motion
mhm,
outside of swinging a baseball, which is also unnatural, to be going in. And so I love the opportunity to take somebody who's brand new and to help guide them and make that a really enjoyable experience. Because it's very easy for that to become frustrating and you decide this is too hard. I don't want to do this. I would say though, my favorite moment of impact would be actually my mom. When I'm growing up, my brother, sister, and I all played golf as kids. We learned through a nonprofit here in Orlando called the Orlando Minority Youth Golf Association.
mhm,
And so that was really what we did with our dad. And even when we would go play on our own, we had a foursome. It was us plus my dad. And so my mom would use the opportunity while we were out to live her best life, right? She's got a house free, no husband, no kids,
mhm,
etc.
mhm,
But we always wanted her to play, and she would tell us growing up, "My 50th birthday, that'll be when I start to play," and, that has come and gone. But during our first out of office Orlando event, my mom came, and she participated in the clinic that we did. We have some great instructors that come out there, and that's a huge part of the experience,
mhm.
for OOO, and she got in there, she learned, she made contact,
Right.
she had a blast, she was like, "This is so fun." And
Mhm,
then we
mhm,
usually do as a family around either Thanksgiving or Christmas, we'll all get together and go play golf together, and now our family has grown, and so we've got, like, now two groups or maybe even groups
nice,
sometimes.
yeah.
And so my mom came this past year, and she played all 9 holes and had a really, really great time. So I would say that out of all I mean, I love teaching new
Yeah,
creating that experience, but having my mom play and learn and love it was definitely
that's great. I was gonna say that was a cheat code, but, I'll let that one slide. That was a great answer. Well, let's talk about challenges. What challenge or challenges you faced that shaped your path into who
For me, I think I've been in the professional world, obviously, for a while now, but I don't know, outside of just, I'm young looking. So for me, working in golf in particular, which is a very male dominated industry, it's probably more closely aligned with like technology or maybe like could be the construction industry, maybe. There's not a lot of diversity in that space. And so I don't know that I've necessarily been super I have had challenges for sure, especially earlier on in my career. But I will say I've been very lucky to be at organizations, the LPGA and Youth on Course in particular, who are very progressive, who are very nurturing to ideas that are strong ideas and gave me a lot of runway to do and test things and be out front leading things that I know I wouldn't have had those same opportunities at other organizations. I'll say that being different looking, being younger has been a challenge in some rooms, but by also, I'm an introvert, so I can't even necessarily say that I've always embraced standing out. I don't like that, but it certainly helps people remember you, especially if you are doing good work. And so I've been able to use being different, being, unique in a number of different ways to my advantage in that space.
What motivates you in your current role? Your role as the founder and CEO of Birdhouse, and also the co-founder of Out of Office.
Love that question. I am a problem solver. So that is what really motivates me. I love the whatever the challenge is, the labyrinth of stuff, if you give
Hmm.
me a broken puzzle, I am very blessed to have a skill of being able to figure out how to put the pieces together pretty quickly to make it make sense and solve that issue. And obviously my medium is through branding and marketing, strategy. And so that is the work that I get to do, I've done throughout my career, but get to do at Birdhouse. And what I love about that is I get to be in the room and in almost like voyeuristic in a number of different industries. I spend so
Hmm.
much time in golf and so much time in sports and nonprofit. And part of the catalyst for me wanting to start, a business of my own is one, I knew this was the next right challenge for me to take on. I knew that I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I knew I wanted to start an agency. I'd looked up enough to be like, I could do a better job. Oh, I could do this, and I
Yeah,
could do
yeah,
it
yeah.
but also I wanted to flex my muscles in different spaces. I knew what I was able to do in golf and how to make, you know, change and how to create campaigns and how to develop brands and how to create marketing strategies in that space. I really wanted to challenge myself and others. And so starting this agency was both an opportunity to do that and serve more people, but it's also been such an awesome learning experience. I've worked with clients in higher education. I've worked with clients in architecture, like just a number
Right.
of different spaces that I'm also a learner. So that's the other thing that
Yeah.
is so interesting. I'm a problem solver, but I love to learn and immerse myself in different things. And so it's been an incredible experience so far, challenging one, but again, it's the types of challenges that I was ready for.
Great, great. I love that. And your industry, what trends or changes are you most excited about that you see coming down the pipeline?
AI is the
Yeah,
big
that's in every industry, right?
every industry. There are, obviously pros and cons, and I try my best, between my team and I to use AI, what I call ethically, right? We're not overusing it. We're using it in a way that is to be helpful and supportive and not contribute to all the like slop that they say that
Mhm.
it's out there. But what I love about AI is that, especially when I started my agency, actually, is when AI was just starting to come onto the scene, and businesses were starting more broadly, businesses were starting to utilize it. I took a course at that time on creative art direction through a program called Elevator, and it was led by a copywriter, a lead copywriter, and a lead creative director at one of the biggest sort of advertising firms in the US. And they, over like, I think 8 to 12 weeks, walked us through their creative process and showed literally how they were utilizing AI within that process to help, them ideate, to help them create concepts that they could deliver that would take a long time for somebody on their team to render out. They were able to develop and help their end client picture what was in their mind more clearly, essentially. And so that was what gave me like light bulb. Okay, it's not wrong to use AI. It's just about using it in the right parts of your creative and strategic process. And so those are principles that we've adopted in our agency. But also, what I love about it is that it uh, sort of democratizes the ability for companies, especially smaller companies who may not have big teams, to, if it's used right, be able to write marketing copy that is strong, right? To be able to brainstorm with. So I like it for those use cases. It just allows people to have access that's a little bit more expansive than they would if they were trying to figure it all out on their own.
Great. So what outside of work, what keeps you going? What keeps you energized?
Ooh. Coffee, number 1. That would be number 1. I am very much as I say, my family definitely keeps me energized, but also, I'm the mom with the like, we're in sports season right now.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
feel like
yeah.
right now I'm, like, a little bit of, like, a shadowing as, like, a Uber driver,
Hmm.
basically. So that can be a little bit draining, but also family is definitely what keeps me going. That is my motivation, my inspiration. I wanna be the best example of how to live, a
Hmm.
rich, healthy, happy, joyful life. And the best way to do that is by showing it to them. So that is very much what keeps me going is, the joy that I get from being with family, but then also the motivation to live in a way that I would want them to also be living in the future.
Because you had an event last night, correct?
Yes.
I saw something out there. I'm like, is she going to make this podcast? I'm not sure, but you're right. That, that cup of caffeine, that'll get you going.
Mhm.
So I do appreciate you joining us this morning. Leave us with a word of advice, a gem that you would like to share with my audience.
I would say the sort of philosophy that I have, and I'll make it a marketing centric because that is
Hmm.
my
Hmm.
space, but it also regardless of what industry or whatever what you do, people first is very much, my focus. It is the lever, the lens that we look at everything through when we're developing any type of advertising, any type of content, any type of strategy. It is how is this going to feel? How is this going to resonate? How is this going to connect with the folks that we're putting it in front of? And so having that level of empathy across all that you do from a marketing lens, but then also in your business is very much how we operate here. And I'm sure any successful founder would want to operate.
Thank you. Thank you, Ashley. Thank you for joining
Yeah.
me for a virtual cup of coffee. And to my audience, thank you for listening to another episode of Grab Coffee with me, caffeinated by Dowden Golf Solutions, transforming corporate events one golf experience at a time. I hope you learned something new because I did. And if you like this episode, don't forget to like, share, subscribe on YouTube so you don't miss what's coming or what's brewing next. Until next time, keep your coffee strong and your conversations meaningful.